effect on society, and you can tell that after 2 years, more and more people have been consuming sugar, and they've been slowly gaining more and more weight because of that. So as you can see, in 1960, people were weighing 142 pounds, which is approximately like 60 kilos, and then over like 1970, they gained 6 pounds, and then they slowly gained more and more weight until now, 2010. The average weight for women is 168 pounds or 70 kilos, which is actually a lot compared to the average weight of women a long time ago. And the weight increased because of the increase of sugar consumption. And also, because of sugar, rates of type 2 diabetes have increased because of how much sugar people are consuming. And sugar also causes obesity, and it causes you not to be as productive or as like you can't work as much because of sugar. And sugar not only negatively affects our body and our society, but also negatively affects our environment, because forests must be cleared out to plant sugar, and wood or fossil fuel is needed in processing steps to make sugar. So, and waste products from processing affects the environment, because after making sugar, you get all these waste products that are then released into the ocean or released into the forest that might affect the animals living there. And also now we're going to talk about another thing, which is BMI. If you haven't heard of BMI, it's the body mass index, and it's used to measure your size based on the mass and height of so it calculates like your BMI based on your height and your weight to calculate if you have a healthy weight for your height. So for example, if you weigh 60 kg, and then you divide 60 kg by your height squared. So then, for example, if your height in meters is maybe, I don't know, to like 1.6 meters, you square that, and then 60 divided by that, and then you see where your BMI is. If it's between 18.5 and 24.9, you're in a healthy spot, that's good, because that's average. But if you're under that, it means you're underweight, and if you're over that, it means you're overweight. But if you do calculate it and you get it underweight or overweight, you shouldn't really be worried, because there's a lot of things that the BMI does not account for, such as muscle mass and actually healthy fats, because some fats are healthy for your body. And so what's on your plate? As you already know, there's many things that make up what we eat daily, like carbohydrates, proteins, and such. And now we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about carbohydrates, lipids, cholesterol, and proteins. Now we're going to start off talking about carbs, which you already know about. So you can find carbs in foods such as fruits, vegetables, bread, cereals, and other grains, rice, all these different types of stuff. And carbs are essential nutrients that provide your body with the energy you need. And so how are carbs digested? Well, carbs are they go into your mouth and salivary glands, which produce saliva, secrete saliva, and helps you moisten the food, and then you can it goes it's chewed while the salivary glands also do that. So that while they're being chewed, I don't know if we've talked about this because it's a little bit more depth. An enzyme is released called amylase, which begins the process of breaking down the polysaccharide. And polysaccharide is just a fancy word for sugar, or a complex type of sugar in the carbohydrate food. And then after it goes into your mouth, it goes into your stomach, and pancreas, and eventually the large intestine. You can see the picture there, how it goes down. And now Ali's going to talk about proteins, which is the other type.
Okay, so proteins. And proteins is what many foods contain proteins, such as beef, fish, eggs, and nuts. And proteins, they're seen in your muscles, in your organs, such as your stomach, and your immune system, which helps fight off. It makes your body safe. And when you eat foods that contain protein, the digestive juices within your stomach and your intestine, when the digestion happens, it goes to work and it breaks these proteins into amino acids. And amino acids are the basic unit of proteins. So multiple amino acids build up to make proteins. And these amino acids, they're used to make the proteins your body needs to make. So it makes the muscles, the bone, the blood, and the body. Now, since we're talking about diet, you know how much protein do we need within your bodies? And something that's supposed to, your protein consumption for a healthy person is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So I weigh 83 kilos, and I need 0.8 grams of 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So 0.8 times 83 equals 66.4. I need 66.4 grams of protein in my diet every day to maintain healthy lifestyle. Now, lipids.
Alright, so lipids, as I already said, the lipids are pretty much fat that we consume in our bodies. So lipid is defined as a fat-like molecule that does not have the ability to dissolve in water. So whenever you consume fat, it doesn't actually dissolve in your body like some other things. So when you consume it, they kind of go like little droplets in your body, and then they kind of go in your small intestine, which is right here. And then so when they go in your small intestine, it hasn't been digested at all. So you have like this little blob of fat. So here, there's a picture of fried chicken. I know we all like fried chicken, however, like it gives you really bad fats in your body. So there are, like I said, there's good and bad fats. Some fats you actually do need to consume to kind of go on because, like, once they kind of give you energy to kind of go on with your daily lives. However, it's better to consume like chicken breast, grilled chicken breast, or like olives, or avocados, or eggs. They're the kind of good fats that we need to consume in our bodies. We need to keep in, like, you might have, like, if you exercise, you might kind of burn off your fat. However, you kind of need it to kind of go off your daily lives. But I was just kind of saying that, like, foods such as meat, dairy products, seeds, nuts, and oils that contain dietary fat, that's what you need, dietary fats. And, like, here we have some things that do contain the bad fat that we don't need in our bodies, because the more bad fat you have, the less energy you will actually have, the more you gain weight, and at our age, we should try to stop it. So when we get older, it's harder for us to kind of like stop getting fatter and stuff. And now we have Ahmed and let's talk about nutrition.
Alright, so a lot of people think about cholesterol as a very negative thing. I'm not sure if you guys know what it is. Cholesterol is a waxy substance that originates from two different sources, so it comes from two different places. Firstly, it comes from your body, and then also it can come from your food. And most people know about the cholesterol that can come from your food, but some people don't know that cholesterol can also come from your body. And so your liver can actually produce more cholesterol when you eat a diet with high saturated and trans fat. So the more fats you have in your diet, the more cholesterol you produce, and that's not necessarily always good. So, like I said, there are two different kinds of cholesterol. There's the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, which is made by the body, and so when you have too much cholesterol made by the liver, it gets pretty bad. I'll explain that later. And then there's the HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and that can be obtained sometimes from foods in different places. So there's too much, if you have too much of one or too little of another, it's bad. See, the body always works on balance. So your body needs to have a balance between both of those cholesterols for it to function properly. So you can't have one or one of more and less of one, or it has to be a balance. And so as you can see in here, you have the HDL and the LDL. And so what happens is when you have too much LDL cholesterol, which you obtain from eating foods with high fats, is you get this plaque, this yellow stuff you see right here. And when it starts to form, it starts to clot the veins, and stops allowing the blood to flow. And I'll show you in the next slide. As you can see here, you can see that there's a blood clot, and the blood is not able to flow through your veins, and here, excess cholesterol can cause plaque between layers of artery walls, and so it's really hard for your heart to get blood circulating through your body. And so what this causes is blood clots, like I said, and what a blood clot is when blood can't pass through a certain area because of plaque, for example. It starts clotting, and it starts like getting harder and harder, and that allows for more blood not being able to get through. And so what happens is that now, let's say your heart's trying to pump blood to your brain, but since there's a blood clot in one of your veins, you're not able to get blood in your brain. And so usually what happens here is that when there's so many blood clots, usually what happens is that the vesicle explodes. It explodes because so much blood's trying to get through. Like, imagine a tube and there's constant water trying to get through, and the pressure is rising, rising, rising until boom, there's a pop. And so what that happens is there's blood going everywhere in places where it's supposed to, where it isn't supposed to go, and that's how strokes and heart attacks are caused. And so it's kind of it's very dangerous to have too much cholesterol and have too much plaque build up in your veins. And so now I'm going to talk about how TOK is related with marketing. So I'm not sure if you guys know what TOK is. Do you guys know what TOK is? No? Okay. TOK is a class in the IB, it's a course, the IB diploma, and you have to take it. It's mandatory for everyone who's taking the IB diploma, and TOK stands for Theory of Knowledge. And the Theory of Knowledge is a course that consists of three main aspects, or two main aspects, sorry. The area of knowledge, the areas of knowledge, and the ways of knowing. The areas of knowledge are like the fields that you study, like natural sciences, mathematics, history, the arts, things like that, human sciences. And then you have the ways of knowing, which is how you acquire knowledge, how you get knowledge. So like through language, if I talk to you, you get knowledge. If I tell you something you've never heard, that's through language. Or through reasoning, that's how we know 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. It's through mathematics, we reason it out. And so I'm going to tell you how companies use TOK and marketing to persuade people into buying things, to thinking that certain diets are possible and really achievable when they aren't. So for example, say they persuade you, like I'm sure you've heard of miracle diet pills or things like that, or this advertisement that always comes up, I lost 43 pounds in 2 weeks, and they recommend some random pill, and they tell you, oh yeah, if you take this pill, you'll get miracle weight loss. Well, sadly to say, there's no shortcuts. There are no healthy shortcuts for losing weight or having good healthy diets. And so these companies, they persuade you, they tell you, oh yeah, they show you photos like this, and they tell you if you take this, you can be like that. If you take this supplement, if you take this pills, if you follow this diet, you can be just like them. You can get short, not just short, get slim, lose weight, be healthy as fast as possible. When in reality, there are no shortcuts.